Hello and happy Daisy, folks. Because we're having an absolutely amazing day today. So today I'm taking a look at a faster short story. It's by Brian Lumley. It's 12 pages long. It was published in 1968. It's in my collection of all the Cthulhu Mythos stuff that he published in his early era. And this is early era too. And this is called What Dark God? For you folks. I'll link it to you in my description below in case you're interested in checking it out for you folks. This is by Pegasus. For you folks, and so one of the things I like to do for this channel around October is to dedicate to the forgotten stories in the horror genres of cosmic horror, sometimes sword and sorcery to the Cthulhu Mythos. This was a mythos that was created back when H.P. Lovecraft was alive during the pulp era. It started off with him sharing elements of himself and from his stuff like Innsmouth, Cthulhu, the Necronomicon and stuff like that too, and in order to sort of deepen and darken his stuff, and then he started to bring in other folks, that sort of thing too, into his world and sort of give it his own spin, like Clark Ashton Smith's Pythagoras, as well as helping, as well as encouraging his fellow writers that he definitely wrote lots of letters to do the same, right, and that sort of thing too. So I have, back when I was in college, I read a 3-volume collection of his stuff when he was alive, all of his stuff that were sold, and then sort of a thing too. I loved it so much. I actually changed favorite genres. My favorite genre at the time was fantasy. I read fantasy when I was like in 5th grade for J.R. Tolkien, and then it blew R.A. Salvatore, Anna McCaffrey, Red Saker here, and then Michael Moorcock was my favorite author. And that sort of a thing too, and then I encountered him about 5, and that sort of a thing too, and then he became my favorite author as well. And that sort of a thing too. I read all of his short stories, and then a 2-volume collection of all his collections too, like The Mound that he either ghost wrote or edited, and that sort of a thing too. Then also after that, he was in the mid-90s, and so I started to read all the Cthulhu Mythos collections that were being published at that time. I loved all that. And that sort of a thing too. I probably read at least 1,000 Cthulhu Mythos short stories by now. I started this Brian Lumley, and he wrote this short story, and that sort of a thing too in '68, and just sent it off. It's set on a train. August Derleth liked it because of that. August Derleth at the time was the editor for Arkham House, and this is the editors of a short story. They're putting out the Cthulhu Mythos stuff and some other pulp era stuff that wasn't in the Cthulhu Mythos proper, and that sort of a thing too. And this is when August Derleth is running it too. And so basically, this is a couple of generations after Lovecraft does. And August Derleth has a different interpretation of his mythos. First of all, he actually will assign all these dark gods elements, like Cthulhu will be a water element. And that sort of a thing too, as well as he has more of a, I'm going to show you rather than just kind of hide that stuff. So what happens here, he actually writes this, Brian Lumley, he actually is very, very popular in the horror genre. He's published tons of novels in the Necroscope series that he created in the 80s, which is not the Cthulhu Mythos, but early on he wrote lots of Cthulhu Mythos too. And so I went to read this short story. It's very, very fast. It didn't even take me half an hour yesterday for me to knock it out for the first time, and I haven't read that much Lumley stuff, so I thought it would be nice for me to knock out this stuff from the channel, except for maybe 2 or 3 short stories in his collections that were published at the time. But basically, this isn't a Cthulhu Mythos short story, so I'm not sure why it's in this collection. Right. Basically, what's happening is it's on a train. It's packed. It's late. And that sort of a thing too. Our 2 people get on it, and that sort of a thing too, and they will enter the train, and that sort of a thing too, and it's totally packed. And so they go around trying to find seats, and our main character and his good friend, the Scottish guy, too, are coming back, and the Scottish guy, his friend, will actually be like, I think he thinks that a private booth with the curtains closed might still have space even though it's locked, and so he forces open the door because he thinks that it's just a girl and a guy trying to keep themselves quiet, and right now on a packed train, it's not a good deal, and that sort of thing too. And then the person that works it's like, no, you can't go in there, these tickets are sold, and that sort of thing too. But the voice from behind there, the weird voice, says you can come in, send him in, and that's a sort of a thing too. And then you will enter these They have 4 people there, and they have 2 seats. And these 4 people are very, very dark looking, very, very unnatural looking to our point of view character. And that sort of thing too. And obviously some darker things will happen. But basically what's happening here, who the ultimate big bad isn't somebody from the Cthulhu Mythos, right? It's not a cosmic horror short story either. This is a more traditional horror, folk horror, where those four people are summoning something that's more demonic and real, or kind of more in realisms and that sort of thing too, rather than more of the Cthulhu Mythos and that sort of a thing too. So I'm not sure what this is in this collection. Now, that's not the first time it's happened. Harlan Ellison's on the slab in the Cthulhu 2000 collection also had the same thing. Many people might really like shaft number 24, also in the Cthulhu Mythos in a couple collections by Basil Comp. But again, it's not a Cthulhu Mythos short story, right? And that's sort of a thing either, right? So this is in the Cthulhu Mythos collection of all this stuff. And that is also, he edited it. But he actually doesn't talk about how this was the Cthulhu Mythos or why he included it in his introduction either. So it's a little weird to me, but I don't mind seeing it. It's very, very early in his career, right? It was just a year and 2 hours of writing. And that sort of the thing too. I started to bought it, and then he died before it was published, a couple of years later. So he was definitely not feeling well. At the time, he wasn't sure when he bought it what it was going to be sold for. But it's very, very fast again, 12 pages long, not that long. And won't take that much of your time either. And that sort of thing too. But I don't really. I mean, it didn't insult me, right? It wasn't like a Cthulhu Mythos thing. It didn't have this great surprising ending that made me go, oh, I get that now. Right? He didn't include some information in the intro that sort of sold me on what would happen or what was actually behind, and that sort of thing too, right? It doesn't have a major ending. You twist it up. It doesn't have this massive descriptions, right? It's not that long. It doesn't have that much world building, and that sort of thing too. So I feel like it's probably just a 5.5. And that sort of thing too. It's not that great. It is not that memorable either. But I'm sure many people out there will disagree with me, and that's fine. I'm not going to lose easily. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, right? All up and down the block. Remember, I'm not a trained critic. I didn't study English in college. I'm not coming to you from a place of expertise, right? I'm just a fan like you are. So that means your opinion really is as important as mine is. So let me know what your thoughts are, and if you agree or disagree with how I'm going to. Also, you can also check out, and I also do other reviews of these in the 3 things that we cover in fantasy, science fiction, horror, 2 up and down blocks. And so if you want to follow those and that sort of thing too, or my older video game reviews that I do on Wednesdays, and older movie serials I do on Saturday, things, or my older tabletop RPGs, reviews like Dungeons & Dragons, or Middle-earth role-playing, or Battletechs like war games like Battletech, rather than Battletech war games. I got that in the wrong order. But you can also, please, do all the YouTube stuff, hit the subscribe button, like button, share, all that good stuff. All up in the box for you folks. You can also tell from those 7 older titles, things that awake, that it's a passion of this channel to find these things for you. All up and down the block. And as you can tell, it's even where it's titled. And we in our passion for the new stuff, right? We've sometimes forgotten that these things, they're standing on the shoulders of giants like Brian Lumley, like like I mentioned before, H.P. Lovecraft, or even August Derleth. That sort of thing too, right? So definitely check that out. All right, and there you are. I want to thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and investing it, right? And watching my video, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions too, right? So like you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate that so very, very much. Thanks again, and have an amazing day.